Rugby Championship 2021, the team of the week for round number one. We've watched the Springboks take on Argentina in their first game. Likewise, the All Blacks and Australia went head-to-head in Bledisloe 2, which was Rugby Championship 1. So, I've gone ahead and picked 15 guys and go through the reason I thought they had a pretty good week. Some of the stats, key events, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on who you would have in your team. My team was certainly not a perfect one. There's certainly some positions which were really competitive, others which were a little bit of a struggle. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts and we'll go through the guys. I'll start with some props, and the first one I've gone with is a South African, and that's the big Ox and Che, back in the starting lineup for the Springboks after getting injured in that first British and Irish Lions test. So, it was a good one for him because he's not got a heck of a lot of caps kind of at international level. I mean, the stats never do the props justice. 3 runs, 4 metres. Those are kind of standard numbers for a prop. 2 defenders beaten, which is actually not too bad. He has a pass. 7 from 8 tackles. Doesn't concede any penalties, which again for a prop is actually one of the better numbers. It's almost like props. If they don't concede penalties, it's kind of showing you how well they're doing at scrum time. And it is at scrum time that you largely pick Ox, because the Pumas pack was under a heap of pressure. It was under more pressure as well when the replacements came on, but the initial groundwork was laid by the starting props, Ox and Che. And his mate, tight head, was Wilco Low. So I've picked that pairing because I thought overall they were really good. I mean, look at the first try the Springboks scored through Reinach. It was the Pumas dropping the ball for a scrum set play, and the scrum was kind of on wheels, man. It was going backwards, so not the platform they needed to be going forward. So I would say a lot of credit to that try. Actually starts up front with these props. He has 2 runs for 2 metres, which is perfectly prop-like. You know, props should be getting about 1 metre per carry. None of this kind of flashy stuff. 4 from 6 tackles. Obviously, he'd like that to be a little bit better. He actually wins a lineout. One that didn't quite go according to plan, but he still had the reactions to pinch that one out of the air without having to jump, thankfully. He does concede 1 penalty, but man, his scrummaging was on form. We've seen it for Harlequins if we've been watching him in the Premiership. He's been a proper unit of a man, and I thought he had a pretty good shift. Now, hooker is one that's really competitive, and I've kind of gone with one that's maybe not the one you're thinking of if you watched both games. But I will get to the honourable mentions at the end. I've gone with, from my Argentina, I've gone with Julian Montoya. Why him? He didn't score any tries. He has 5 runs for 7 metres, which is not a heck of a lot, but again, in keeping with front rowers, it's kind of standard fare. 2 passes. But defensively, not only does he get a turnover, but he makes 13 out of 13 tackles. 13 tackles. Now, that's not the highest number you've ever seen. You've seen guys make 20 plus in a game easily. But Argentina as a whole make 81 tackles, and he makes 13 of them, which is like 16% of the tackles. Which, I mean, he only has to make a couple more, and he's made like 1 in 5 tackles, right? If he makes like 19 or something like that. That's a bonkers number of tackles. I think the next was like 8. So, as captain, he obviously feels the need to to be the guy. He is a big-time threat at the breakdown, absolutely. And, I thought he put in a massive shift. The line-out was like 80%. I think they had a couple go astray, but everyone this week at least lost a couple of line-outs, even the Springboks. So, he conceded 1 penalty, but 2 passes. That turnover, like I mentioned, he was a massive part in Argentina's defensive effort, even if they did get kind of pretty handily beaten. Locks. I've gone with a Kiwi and Brodie Retallick. He does like scoring tries against Australia. That seems to be true. He's got 1 try, 3 runs for 38 metres. One of them was a big old clean break, and he does have a clean break registered. He was the kind of guy running a support line to get into some space. He has 1 pass, 8 from 8 tackles, which is 100%. Just the 1 line-out win. But overall, man, Brodie doing what Brodie does. He's there at right place, right time. He makes his tackles. He cleans his rucks. he does what Brodie Retallick does best. Really great to see him back in New Zealand. And from South Africa, I have gone with another big man in Lut Tiyaka. He put in a proper shift. Maybe didn't get the run meters that Brodie had. 7 runs, 8 meters. But he has a pass. 14 out of 15 tackles is, I think, second only to Quokka Smith. But Quokka Smith didn't do a heck of a lot ball in hand compared to Tiyaka, whose 8 run meters, I think, is ahead of Quokka, even though they're in different positions. He has 5 line-out wins and 1 line-out steal. And the grand total of South Africa's line-out wins is 6. They were 6 from 8 with their line-outs, and 5 of them with the Yakas. So he is definitely a key man in what they do at set-piece time as well, and also disrupting what the Argentinians were doing. So, I'm just so happy to see that guy back fit, because he's been out for such a bloody long time. But since the Lions series, man, he seems to be well back in form. Lucy's on the blind side, I have gone with Akira Ioane. He had a big old game for the All Blacks, man. Maybe his best game that we've seen him play for the All Blacks. He is kind of relatively limited in the amount of times he has played. But he was destructive, man. 9 runs for 80 run meters. He was, proper ball-carrying best. 3 defenders beaten. He has a clean break. He has 3 passes, 9 from 9 tackles. Wins 4 lineouts, which I think is second only to Whitelock. So he was really doing a bit of everything. The All Blacks have talked for a long time about the fact that he needs to kind of up his work rate. Well, I think they'll be pretty pleased with what they saw from him. And, I'm kind of keen to see him get a bit more game time, to be honest, because the 6 question is still one that's floating around a bit here in New Zealand anyway, as to who is our best guy on the blind side. Open side, I've gone with an Aussie in Michael Hooper, man. In a losing effort, he put in a pretty good shift, didn't he? That guy always... Sometimes you feel for him, like if his team's letting him down, he's still the one trying to lead from the front. 7 runs for 54 meters. I think he's the second Aussie in terms of his carrying meters. Kind of has to do it for his team, doesn't he? He beats a defender. He has a clean break. He has 10 passes, 3 offloads, 5 from 5 tackles, wins a turnover. Like, what doesn't the dude do? He didn't jump at line-out time. But, I mean... Bro, the guy's a warrior, and sometimes you feel from him when his team's getting, 57 points put on him, and I feel from him in those press conferences having to answer all the questions, but that guy's world class, no matter what happens. And man of the match in the game against the Argentinians, Jasper Wiese for the Springboks. If there's one thing the Argentinians, and hopefully the Wallabies in New Zealand would have learned from watching that game, is do not kick the ball to Jasper Wiese unless you're going to contest it, because that guy eats that stuff for breakfast. He's quite happy to catch a high ball uncontested, and then he's not going to pass. He's going to put his head down and he's going to run straight into whoever's in front of him. He's going to make a beeline for the opposition try line no matter how far away from it he is. He has 12 runs, which I think must be among the most this week, 79 run meters. He has 7 defenders beaten, which I'm pretty sure is the top guy this week. Only the 1 pass is what I'm talking about, and 3 from 4 tackles. Don't kick him the ball. He's going to just bash you all day long. Yeah, don't give Jasper Wiese any chance to run into you, because he is a big old unit of a man, and he's not afraid of taking that ball into contact. So, that's the forwards for this week. As I mentioned, honourable mentions to come at the end. Backs, and to be honest, this scrum halfback was probably one of the most competitive this week. Could have gone to multiple guys, but I've gone with Corbus Reinach. Scores a really good try, man. As I mentioned, it's his kind of his forwards that set him up, put the opposition under pressure, but he pounced 1 chance. 3 runs, 75 run meters. Most of them part of that try. He is lightning quick. Outpacing wingers. It was only Bruni, the number 8, coming across at the angle, a slightly shorter run, that almost got him, got a hand to him, but he still beat them all. 2 defenders beating a clean break, 48 passes, 12 kicks, and his kicking was really good, man. He's able to kind of drop the ball in that contestable area just outside the opposition 22, close enough that his forwards, his chasers can get to the ball, and, Not so deep that the opposition are going to have uncontested kicks. Not too short that they're not going anywhere. Just right on the money. And it's kind of not what he's known for. He's known for his wheels. So Yeah, really good effort from him. 6 from 7 tackles, does concede 1 penalty, but man, that gas was very impressive. Number 10 for this week, I've gone with Richie Mo'unga. And for Mo'unga, it was kind of a week where he didn't impress in the way that he normally does, which is defenders beating and run meters, right? He usually just cuts team to bits, but I think more kind of tactically aware this week. Kicked really well, put the Aussies under a lot of pressure, knew when to take the ball to the line and knew when to kind of distribute. He ends up with 5 runs, 35 metres, which again for him is pretty low. 2 defenders beaten for him, pretty low. 6 passes and an offload, 4 from 4 tackles, 11 kicks. So he's kicking more than he's passing. Again, was what I'm talking about compared to his normal game. He's a running, maybe passing, and then kicking guy. But yeah, kicking was on the money. 5 conversions and even throws a quick line out. So yeah, really controlled performance from him, which was good to see him kind of play in another way rather than just kind of looking to be the centerpiece for all the All Blacks moves. So good to see. Midfielders, I'm continuing with the All Blacks theme. I've gone with David Havili. Despite that haircut, man, I had to pick him. He gets a try. He has 9 runs for 64 metres, which is a pretty solid effort by anyone's books. He has 2 defenders beaten in a clean break. 3 passes, which is not that much for a 12, but 7 from 8 tackles. May not sound that flash, but the dude generally misses 3. So the fact that he goes 7 from 8, I thought was an improvement. It's an area of his game that he needs to get right. I'm just picturing guys like Damien Delende kind of running at him and I mentioned Manu Tuolangi running at him, feeling a bit nervous. So the defensive area of his game is the one area he needs to kind of sharpen up. But 7 from 8 is not bad. He has a kick and 1 penalty conceded, but overall thought he played pretty well. And him and Mo'unga playing together makes sense because they both play for the Crusaders. And I've gone with another Kiwi in Rico Ioane. He got a bit of a gift from the Aussies in a intercept pass that led to his try. He gets 4 runs for 80 run meters. It looked like Marika Korobete was kind of catching him, but on viewing that one again, because he goes virtually length of the field, I think Rico took the foot off the gas towards the end once he knew he was going to make it. But yeah, took his try really well. That's the clean break he gets. He has 4 passes. There's an offload. 5 from 5 tackles is another area for him, which has been a bit of a concern. His defensive work in the midfield, not really too troubled. 1 penalty conceded. But I mean, I'm not convinced that Paisami and Tamua is the best Aussie midfield, so we'll have to wait and see if they kind of shift things up and put these guys under a bit more pressure. But overall, I thought they did a pretty solid job. Outside backs, man, more Kiwis. Here we go. It's Severis on the left wing. Another gift. It's an intercept try. But I mean, when I say gift, he's got to kind of take it above his head. It's a good read. He goes length of the field to score his try. He only gets the 3 runs. So a pretty quiet outing for him. 76 run meters, the lion's share in that intercept. 2 clean breaks. One of those is the try. Only the 1 pass, but 9 from 9 tackles. Is pretty solid. He has 1 line-out win as well, a quick one. He does concede 2 turnovers, so a little bit of dropsies early, but thought he settled pretty well into the game, but still not as kind of dominant as we would have maybe seen from him before. I've managed to sneak in Aussie. This is maybe a bit of a controversial one. I'll go Andrew Kellaway. He gets 2 tries. One of them's one that I probably could have scored, the second one, but he kind of takes it flat-footed and still manages to get over the line, which I could see other teams, because the pass to him was kind of to where he was standing. He's wide out on the wing, the second try, and he just kind of has to wait for the pass to get to him and then start going. So he still did good enough to get down. Maybe I'm exaggerating when I say I could have scored it, but it didn't look like there was much to it. The first try he gets, because he does get 2 tries, he has to kind of step DMAC, so a good little shimmy from him to score that one. But yeah, 2 tries, 8 runs, 46 metres, beats a defender, has 2 clean breaks, 3 passes, 2 offloads, 6 from 6 tackles, although that's a bit fake because he gets dummied by Akira Ioane for one of the All Blacks tries that leads to Retallick's one. Yeah, Akira, I forgot to mention that when I mentioned Akira's game. Yeah, he dummied Kellaway really well. So Kellaway bit that one, hook, line, and sinker. But yeah, he wins 2 turnovers as well, has 1 kick. He does have 1 turnover conceded, which I think might be that knock-on he had right towards the end of the game when Havili got his try. So that was kind of a costly one as well. He's got 2 big old errors, but he's got 2 tries, so maybe cancels it out. He's looked pretty sharp at the international level, so hopefully he gets a bit more game time. And the last one, fullback. Fullback was one where I don't think there's a clear, easy pick, man. Honestly. Carreras for the Argentinians was dropping a bit of high ball. Willemse seemed to struggle a wee bit for the Boks. Tom Banks, I don't think, set the world alight for the Wallabies. D-Mac kicks a long penalty, 59 metres, when the All Blacks have got a yellow card. So that was a good kind of individual moment. Like I mentioned, Callaway stepped him for that try. But it's his little tip pass to Retallick that sets up Retallick's try, so he's kind of balanced. So he's got a try assist. He's got that long penalty, 6 runs, 12 metres, a clean break, 4 passes. An offload. He's got 3 turnovers conceded. He dropped a high ball early, so did have a few mistakes, and 1 from 2 tackles is the Callaway miss, I would say. 3 kicks, so yeah. None of the fullbacks were kind of all over everybody else this week, I kind of felt. But anyway, that's my 15. Like I mentioned, I've left some dudes out. You can easily swap them. I'll go for a few honourable mentions. McDermott for the Aussies was probably one of their best players as well at scrum half. Looked the business. I hope he gets more time at 9 because he's still a young man and needs to kind of develop. Likewise, Aaron Smith I thought was really good for the All Blacks. Couple of try assists from him. Just generally looked sharp. Set up, I think, 2 of Cody Taylor's tries. Speaking of Cody Taylor, you could have him. I mean, Cody Taylor's tries. The first one, again, could I have scored that? Maybe. He's just got to take that pass from Aaron Smith and just kind of go. The second one, it's another pass from Aaron Smith. He just barrels through one player. So those were almost more like Aaron Smith's tries than Cody Taylor's tries, but still 2 tries, man. You got to give him credit. So Cody Taylor's 1. Adi Savia gets yellow carded, but also I thought had a pretty big game. Dweba, the hooker for South Africa, got a turnover, made some tackles, was pretty solid all round for his test debut. A lot of pressure on him. Facundo Issa for the Pumas was one of their better ball carriers, actually, in a South African defence that wasn't giving up much ground. Issa was kind of one of the better looking guys, even though he got substituted relatively early. He was probably the better looking of the 2 flanks for Argentina. Afalele Fassi scored a bit of a wonder try for the Boks. Didn't get a heck of a lot of ball, but man, he took his try really well. And likewise, Will Jordan took a try really well, so you could easily put him ahead of Callaway. But I don't think Jordan had much to do in that first half, at least not that I can remember having watched the game. The ones, Crocker Smith, like I mentioned, made a heap of tackles. Sam Whitelock was kind of his consistent best as well. But anyway, you can only pick 15, so I'll pick 15. If you've got a 15, do chuck them in the comments. I'm always keen to read other people's thoughts on who you would have had. But yeah, we look forward to round 2 of the Rugby Championship. It's again kind of rematches from round 1, and then we will kind of move on with the competition. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. If you got all 18 minutes of the video, do drop it a like or subscribe or comment, all that kind of stuff. It all helps out. And yeah, I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later. Bye.